Week 12 brings that holiday feeling in as we've got Thanksgiving week coming up in the NFL season. Gobble, gobble. Happy holidays to everybody. Welcome to the Dynasty Mafia Podcast. I am Antonio Denise, your host. With me, as always, Keenan and Eric. What's going on tonight, fellas?
Going on with you? Happy holidays to everybody. I'm ready to eat a nice big meal on Thursday.
Aren't you a vegetarian, Big E?
Yes. Strictly.
Yeah. Happy holidays to you guys too. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. Not much going on over here. I'm drinking a nice Hershey Porter, boys. You guys ever try a Hershey beer before?
No, but it sounds delicious.
Maybe you'll get a 6-pack on your porch for the holidays.
Is it
Probably.
like chocolate Hershey?
No, the other Hershey.
Yeah, the other Hershey.
Oh, that's
like
perfect.
Like Hershey, Pennsylvania.
I don't know what else they had going there. I mean, mixing chocolate and beer. I was never a big fan of chocolate and beer, so that's probably.
You might get a 6-pack for the holidays.
We'll see, man. We'll see. Speaking of holidays, Week 12, Turkey Week is bringing a guest here onto the Mafia. Our first one of the football season. We're very happy to bring on Jeremy Popularis. What's going on, Jeremy? How are you today?
Pretty good. How about yourself, guys?
Hey, man, we're happy. We are very happy to have you here on the show. Why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself and what you have going on?
I've got not much going on, but Corona. But no, I've just been playing some fantasy football for a while. Mostly Dynasty. Don't get outside of that. But I do avidly use Twitter. I pretty much have been using that a lot this season and getting into the fantasy community a little more and interacting with people as far as giving some advice. So far, I feel like it's been going pretty well, but other than that, just living life.
Good advice, right?
I wouldn't say good, subpar.
Where can everybody find that subpar advice on Twitter?
My Twitter handle is @PopesFFH. It's about where you can find it.
Beautiful, beautiful. And if you're checking us out on YouTube, you can see all our handles right there. And make sure you are checking us out on YouTube, youtube.com/Dynasty Mafia Podcast. Make sure you're also checking us all out on Twitter. You can follow the Mafia @Dynasty Mafia _FF. You can follow me @Antonio Donisi FF DONISI, and Eric @Eric D _FF, and Keenan @Keenan _716. Week 12 brings the end to the third quarter of the fantasy season. We're about to be into the fourth quarter next week. And at least that's how I tend to look at the season is in quarters, because things just don't tend to be the same at least the beginning of the season as they were maybe at the end for a majority of players. And I don't know, it brought another weird week. A lot of quarterbacks didn't have as much touchdowns as the league average that we've been having, and we had a really rough week 2 weeks ago with quarterback passing yards. And obviously we lost a quarterback this week with Joe Burrow and his injury. Because Keenan's repping that jersey. What do you guys have to say about Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals in general? And I think Keenan will let you start that one off.
I'm gonna start off, pretend talk about the Bengals fans. I feel so bad for them. I know all four of us are Bills fans, and it took us forever to find a quarterback. And Josh Allen, and I can't imagine that ever happening to our quarterback. So I feel so bad for those fans. And then watching it, I don't know if you guys watched the replay more than once. I watched it a few times, and you feel bad for Burrow, you feel bad for the defender, all those players on the Bengals. He was going to break a lot of records this season and for rookie passing. Yeah, so it was tough. I don't know. You never want to see that happen. So it was really tough to watch. And
Yeah.
I didn't see it. I think, Antonio, you saw it first, and you sent the group message, and I was like, he's better be kidding.
Yeah, I have, I had my 3 TVs going, and I was watching. I saw him get hit, and he went down, so I immediately turned my head to the next game. And when I went back to the left, I just saw him on the ground, and like you said, I saw the defensive player just looking very upset in himself. So immediately I knew, like, when he was holding his knee, it was unfortunate. And I don't mean this negatively, but I have a lot of Joe Mixon shares in my dynasties. I have him in my redraft this year, and that's obviously going to negatively impact him. People who drafted T. Higgins invested a lot in him. I know I was pushing a lot of people to trade for him this season, but you can't predict something like this. And right now, early projections are there's a chance he might miss 2021 season. We're not going to certainly rule that out. We have seen other things happen before, so we're not going to rule that out at all. But hopefully he just does have a nice, speedy recovery.
Wasn't he crazy that he tweeted like 20 minutes after it happened, saying you'll see him in 2021 or whatever?
That just seems like such a Joe Burrow thing that he wanted to be the one to break it. Didn't want to tell anybody else. It had to be Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
So
good for him. Good for him.
Exactly. Good for him. And yeah, I hope he comes back because he's great. He's great. So wait, actually, Jeremy, what do you think Cincinnati should do right now? I mean, let's just say he's not ready for just hypothetical. He's not ready for September or October. What do you think Cincinnati's going to do?
What I think they're going to do versus what
at quarterback
should do.
Absolutely.
I think that they're going to have to see what Ryan Finley does, which we already know what he's going to do, which he did last year, which is going to be just a placeholder and pretty much do nothing and ruin all of the fantasy out of that entire offense. However, I think that this year you're going to see, with the amount of quarterbacks coming out of the draft, that I know I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of guys I follow that have been talking up a good solid 6 to almost 8 quarterbacks that are decent coming out of college, that I think this might be a year for another a lot of turnover in quarterbacks, and you might end up seeing like a Garoppolo get cut. You might see Winston could be gone out of New Orleans. You could see a lot of quarterback turnover, and they might be able to sign somebody and bridge that if he is not coming back, or even if he's coming back halfway through the seasons. Maybe they pick up Andy Dalton's on a 1 year in Dallas. I mean, they could always bring him back. They could go after Fitzpatrick if he doesn't stay in Miami. He's always been unfortunate for him, but he's always bridged that gap. Tyrod could be out of Los Angeles. I mean, he could be a quarterback they could go after. But I definitely think they should take their time with Burrow. Like you guys had mentioned, this kid's the real deal. And like Keenan had said, he was going to be breaking lots of records this year. He's somebody that I would definitely take my time with for them and at least let him heal and get his knee back to 100% before tossing him back out there, especially behind that questionable offensive line that we don't know is going to get any better between this year and next.
Awesome.
They should lose the rest of the games this year. Find a way.
They should, but like I never thought of that. If Winston does leave, if the Saints don't want to sign him back, he could be a great quarterback sign on a one year deal. They could still compete, and the fantasy options would still be fantastic there.
Oh, I got Winston in that offense with Higgins and Boyd, and if Green comes back, which isn't going to happen, but
yeah, it'll be real interesting to see how the offseason unfolds with some holes that are getting that are certainly opening, as we can see. I mean, Kirk Cousins in Minnesota, there's a chance that relationship could end. Could you imagine someone like Jameis Winston getting up in Minnesota? But I know that'd be crazy. So, but yeah, talking about quarterbacks, like I said, there was 34 touchdowns 2 weeks ago, 45 last week. The league average has been 52. This was the first week without a 4-touchdown passer. More information on that later, but I thought that was pretty interesting.
That's because Josh Allen didn't play. He was on a bye.
You know. Yeah, there you go. And we obviously have some Thanksgiving games tomorrow. One of my favorite weeks of the season. I love having multiple games on Thanksgiving. I love that culture of just being able to lay on the couch and just watch the football after you get yourself all stuffed. So speaking of that, I just want to go around real quick. Let's all give our top 3 side dishes, whatever you have for your Thanksgiving preference. And I think we'll let our guests start that off. Jeremy, what's your top 3?
Trying to say that I like food. Is that why you're letting me start?
He's thick. He's thick.
Food.
Anyways, I'm a big stuffing. Definitely is up there. Yams. I'm a big yam guy. I know a lot of people don't, but and I'd probably have to go mashed potatoes. Those 3 are
Stuffing,
probably
yes, mashed potatoes. Wow. All right.
Carbs. Lots of carbs.
I like that. What about a pie? Give me your favorite pie too.
Ooh, actually.
Or dessert, I guess.
My fiance makes an amazing caramel apple pie that's to die for. It's amazing.
Ooh,
Well,
I'll give her credit.
that's a lot.
I better find one of those on my
I
porch.
was going to say, that's a lot. That's some high standards.
No, they're really good.
We're certainly going to be expecting some of that.
I'll try.
How about you, Eric? I know we share most of the Thanksgivings together, and I know we have to fight over a couple items.
Yeah, I mean, 2 of them are similar to Jeremy's. Stuffing obviously is a must-have. Mashed potatoes obviously another must-have. Can't be the boxed mashed potatoes. I gotta have real mashed potatoes.
You spoiled.
Hey,
He's not wrong though. It's better.
Right.
Wait. So you say real mashed potatoes. Let me ask you then. Is it red or do you use butter mashed potatoes?
Red.
What do you use? Russet?
what'd you say?
Red potatoes.
Oh, I mean, I don't know.
What potato? Come on. All right. Oh, anything. All right. Well, I'm just wondering. You got your russets.
As long as it's just actual potatoes and not the boxed potatoes.
All right. There you go.
You're good.
What about you?
But then my last one, which might not be popular, I don't know, but creamed corn.
Yo, I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
I haven't had cream corn in a long time. That is good.
For me, it's a must-have.
Our great grandmother has a recipe that's been passed down that my mom just makes all the time, and it is. I don't really like corn that much, but that cream corn is so good. Which puts it third on my list. You're right, but actually probably not. It's gonna fall off. I'm sorry, Mom. Stuffing's first for me all day. My wife makes an amazing stuffing. I thought I knew stuffing until I met my wife. So that's got to be homemade now. No box stuffing. Mashed potatoes are always second. And the third for me is going to be the turkey. I only have like 3 or 4 things, but I'm that sick person that kind of makes you want to throw up when you watch the meat because I'll have like 3 plates, if not like 4, and then just how's my dessert? Like I'll have the big turkey leg, and I'm just eating that big turkey leg. I'm that person.
Well, make sure I don't sit at a table near you.
and then I have to stuff it down with my pecan pie as my favorite dessert.
Skip my pie.
Yeah, I know.
You skipped your own pie.
You started talking.
Yeah, you got excited there, Antonio.
Thanksgiving is one of my favorite. I get like mentally ready for
my pie. My pie is the classic pumpkin pie.
Oh,
with Cool Whip, not whipped cream.
Cool Whip.
You're picky as hell.
There's a difference, though.
There is a difference. There's a reason. There is a reason. Keenan.
Well, I mean, I'm with you, Antonio. I got the stuffing. Did you say corn too?
It was there. It's definitely an honorary mention.
Yeah,
the cream corn.
Yeah, mashed potatoes and the turkey for me. And then apple pie. If you like pumpkin pie, you're sick, Eric.
Oh, pumpkin pie is so good. I actually made my first pie ever the other day, and it was pumpkin pie. We had our Friendsgiving at work, and my wife usually makes all the desserts, right? But it just wound up happening that she wasn't able to make it that night. It was the day before, and I was freaking out, and I'm like, just tell me how to make this pie. So she told me, and it turned out I did a good job. Nobody died.
Yet.
Very true. That was yet.
Now I'm hungry.
All right, we're going to get into the episode today. So we got Fantasy Jeopardy today in honor of Alex Trebek, RIP. We're going to have a little bit of fun today. We're going to have our stresses and impressed and obviously our streamboat back for its weekly voyage. And we're just going to talk some football with Jeremy. So let's get into that right now. I just have a few things I want to talk about that I found interesting. Derrick Henry has the rushing crown right now on Dalvin Cook by 10 yards, and he's actually played one more game than Dalvin Cook. But both of them are leading the next closest rusher by over 300 yards. It's just not even a battle right now with anybody else. It's just the two of them just going hog wild. It's crazy. Like we thought McCaffrey was having a season last year. He's still leading the league on average per game, McCaffrey, but Dalvin Cook and Derrick Henry are both doing great. On top of that, Alvin Kamara had no catches for the first time in his career. That's a yikes. What?
Get a tight end playing quarterback.
Yeah. Taysom Hill got his first career start.
Depends what site you're playing fantasy football on.
ESPN had him designated as that, which I believe now they're going to remove it.
It's because instead of checking down and throwing to Kamara, he just runs the ball.
Exactly. I mean, even if he didn't,
imagine he didn't throw the ball. Rushes. He had 10 rushes. So I mean, imagine if Breeze wouldn't have rushed.
How many of those 10 were
at least 8 or 9 of those would have been checked down to Kamara.
Well, how many of those were designed? That's what.
Oh yeah, true. I guess I don't.
Well, the big problem about all this is Kamara just averages over 12 carries a game. So if he's not getting his usual, 6 or 7 catches a game, what is he?
I think it was a fluke game. I think for New Orleans to be successful, I think they need to involve Kamara. No matter who's playing quarterback, I don't care if Pope's playing quarterback. They're going to involve him in the passing game.
I don't know. I have a pretty good arm.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of it. We're going to talk about Taysom Hill a little bit later, but and Alvin Kamara for that matter. But I don't know. It's very alarming. But I just tweeted this earlier that Alvin Kamara's had 81 catches each of the last 3 seasons, his first 3 years in his league, and I wonder if that's what Sean Payton and Taysom Hill are trying to do is make sure he sticks with 14. Sticks with 81 because he's only 14 away. They're cruel like that.
That'd be very bad.
They're very cruel like that. Julio Jones only ran 17 routes on Sunday due to his hamstring injury. And Matt Ryan has had only 1 total touchdown. That's 1. Passing, rushing, 1 in his last 4 games that Julio has not played or has left injured. So with that being said, can we rely on any Falcons players when Julio's not in?
How about we let you answer that question since you're the big Calvin Ridley guy?
Hey, don't diss Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, I know you and I were talking about Calvin Ridley's ascension as the number 1 wide receiver. I think he's still there. It's just very tough with Julio. I mean, but the targets are there. He gets almost the same amount as Julio. He does really well, obviously, when Julio's on the field because he's at the caliber of a number 1 wide receiver playing against a number 2 cornerback. But yes, it is alarming that Matt Ryan does not play so well. I don't understand fully what it is because it's not like his weapons aren't there anymore. It's not like he still can't throw to Russell Gage over the middle. It's not like Hayden Hurst isn't there running his routes over the middle. And it's not like Calvin really isn't open. It's kind of confusing at times, but I can't put my finger on it.
Here's a bold statement for you. Pope was talking about the quarterback turnover. I think this is the last year of Matt Ryan on that team in Atlanta. New coaching staff next year. Who's to say they don't want to get their own quarterback yet, especially if it's a deep rookie quarterback class again?
I don't think it's that bold. I can see that. You can see Matt Ryan's descent from what he was. And I think to add on to Anthony's point there, I think that the descent there with Ryan is partially just because he's so used to Julio, and Hayden Hurst, Double H, is new to that offense. Yeah, he's been here for the whole year, but he's still not Austin Hooper. So who knows how comfortable he really feels tossing the ball up to him in double coverage or anything along those lines. And Julio's just always open. So for me, I think in the red zone, he's more afraid of making a mistake. And or if you watch, really, I mean, look at the stats for Gurley. Gurley's had a touchdown in almost every single game this year except for 2. So it seems like once they get into the red zone, if they don't score from a deeper area of the red zone, they're just running the ball. And I think that's where you're seeing his touchdown drop off.
Yeah, it's always about touchdown rate with Matt Ryan. We talked about his leap year a lot in the offseason, and that's what it came down to again this year. I mean, he was at a point a couple weeks ago where he was leading the league in passing yards. And, they could get out after 2021 for $26 million in dead cap if they decide to cut him. Other than that, I think it's going to be a little tough. He's at $49 million in dead cap next season. So Matt Ryan's probably there to stay.
What if they traded him?
That's if somebody wants to take the $49 million with a COVID-ridden season that we're still not sure what the salary cap could look like next year. So it'll be interesting. That's for sure. It'll be real interesting.
I mean, the question is, if they trade him, what's the dead cap? Is it 0?
Oh, nothing. It would be the other team would assume that. It's just, would a team take that much dead cap?
Yeah, they would. You give them a first round draft pick, they'll take the contract.
Well, it's not assuming. I'm sorry, they wouldn't assume the dead cap. They would just assume the whole contract itself, and it would be taken away from Atlanta.
I think if they move on from him, it's only going to happen if they get a top 3 pick this year and get one of the top 3 quarterbacks.
Well, they're trending that way.
Well, and then they're going to have Matt Ryan all next year, and they're going to have the rookie sit for a year. Obviously, I don't think they're getting Lawrence, so whoever it'll be, he'll sit behind Ryan for a year, and then they'll move on from Ryan. And
yeah, they got the 3rd pick right now. As the draft started today.
What if they trade Ryan to the Jets for 1?
Yeah, I don't know.
And 3. Well, I'm not saying straight up. But.
No, I know. It'd be just tough seeing somebody. What's he, 36 now? 35. He'll be 36. So
they got the 4th. They would have the 4th pick right now.
But can you start Gurley still, or are you dropping Gurley? He's touchdown dependent, I know, but is he just a bench warmer?
No, I don't think you drop him. I mean, I think was this his first bad game was this his first game without a touchdown in since week 2?
Yeah, I think so. I have it written down somewhere.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not dropping him. He's actually, spoiler alert, one of my impresses for this
week.
He's
gonna have a good week this week.
And he's actually in some formats, the format I'm looking at on our one Yahoo league, he's actually the 54th overall ranked fantasy asset, fantasy player just overall. He's actually doing pretty well. He's had weeks 2 and week 6, he had below 10 points, and then obviously last week he had a bad week, but every other week he's been double digits. He's been solid. He's been having a good year.
Hope you hear that.
Yeah, he's an RB1 this year. I think I saw 8 in full PPR.
Look, Pope, you're talking yourself into that trade that we were discussing for months.
Yeah, it ain't happening.
Well, we'll definitely hope for all Falcons to be on the rise, because I don't know. It's just insane that team hasn't been able to get it together since their Super Bowl run. Justin Herbert's real good, guys. He's having a real good season.
He's all right.
Yeah.
Just wait till this week.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. Keenan called that Miami shutdown in Denver. With Denver.
Sure did.
Denver.
Way to go.
Miami there. Yeah, last week called their run to end. They had a 5-game win streak going into that.
What did I say about Tua? And he hasn't impressed me. He had that one good game where he threw 200 yards, but
they're starting him again.
Yeah,
what's
Tua
that?
got
They're starting him this week.
Miami just said, that's too much.
He's playing the Jets. You have to start him this week, but I mean, I'm not impressed with him so far.
I think he's getting like a Tyrod treatment that the Bills used to have. Once they're down there, I think they have no confidence he's coming back. So that's where Fitz came into the game. They knew Fitz was going to throw the ball around the field, and they had to have that win, really. in their playoff hopes. So
They're ahead of Baltimore right now in the playoffs, though. Hey, I called that one too last week, guys. I'm on a roll.
yeah, Lamar.
Baltimore lost. They're down to 6-4. Lamar was struggling. Hollywood got goose egged.
No, it's not Hollywood anymore. We're retiring that name until he shows that he's Hollywood. He's Marquise from now on. Marquise got a goose egg.
Remember what I said when I said Mark Andrews is going to turn it around? Been the number one tight end the past 2 weeks.
Yeah,
that he has. But are you dropping Marquise Brown? Like, I'm like the last person that wants to say that. But as much as we want to sit here and say it's not Marquise Brown, he hasn't scored double digits since week 5.
In redraft, you're dropping him. In Dynasty, or trading him to Big E.
Dynasty, I'm keeping him all day.
I already did that.
You're trading him, but I mean he's only had more than 5 targets once in his last 4 games. He only has more than 38 yards. Doesn't have more than 38 yards at all. It's really sad right now what's happening to Marquise Brown. But then, at the same point, you're watching J.K. Dobbins potentially explode.
Are you, though?
I'll jump in here since I do have some Hollywood. I do have some Hollywood love.
Well, sorry, hold on. I don't mean to jump on there. We'll talk about the Hollywood love, but obviously
it's Marquise love.
10 players have contracted COVID. 10 players have contracted COVID so far on the Ravens team, and that game's in jeopardy. We'll know obviously more tomorrow for the game, and you guys should find out more when this comes out. But part of the 3-game slate tomorrow against the Steelers, so hopefully that game gets to play. Eric, sorry, I just had to mention that.
Yeah, you're good. I mean, for redraft, if you need somebody to play, I guess you could drop him. But I'll tell you, he's going to get picked up if you do drop him. I don't know. It's really tough. In Dynasty leagues, I'm holding him because what you can trade for him, you might not get what you really want.
You just said if you drop him, someone else pick him up. But that's the point, isn't it? You want someone else to pick him up and somebody else to start them so they can deal with the misery and the pain of his single digits. Because you're sitting here loving all of these. Because I could look at the rest of the matchups. Tennessee was a very juicy matchup. Horrible. Pittsburgh, they're not too great. They're good, but they're not the best against wide receivers. I would still start them. Dallas, horrible. Cleveland, Jacksonville, the Giants. I would start them in every single one of those games if you're on my roster.
The Ravens have the number one easiest strength of schedule for receivers the rest of the season.
Yeah, we were just talking about it last week. Like, that's the problem. That's why I need to get him off my roster because he's going to be sitting on my bench every week, and I'm going to wonder. And then if he explodes, I'm going to start him next week, and then he won't do anything.
I guess it depends what you think. If you think Lamar's going to turn it around, like you said, the schedule lightens up a little bit towards the end. If you think Lamar, gets it on track and he, can start throwing some more touchdowns and just, being a better passer in general, then that offense could look completely different in a couple games. And
I think that offense is going to have to run through J.K. Dobbins. I'm going to tell you why, because they need to run the ball. And Ingram's not getting it done. Edwards isn't getting it done. And that's going to be their problem. You've watched last week or even the couple weeks here where you're saying Andrews is tight end number 1. That's what they have. They have their play action back. They're actually moving the ball on the ground, and teams have to respect both sides of it. All year they've had terrible fantasy output or just regular football play from their running backs all season. So when you're a team that relies on the play action and the option almost, the RPO offense, then you don't have the run part of it. They're passing, and nothing against Lamar, but he's not the greatest passer. And if he just doesn't have the run side of it to open up the defense to have more so of open looks for the pass, then they're not going to get it done. And you're not going to get those shots, which is what Hollywood Brown is known for. He has the deep shot, he has the breakaway speed, and they're not getting that because they're not getting the play action part of it.
Yeah, and even when they are able to try and get it, Lamar's just not hitting them. Like you said, it's rough all around for that. But I agree with you that Dobbins is what they may be leaning on him and Lamar. Speaking of another rookie, Jonathan Taylor had his his finally breakout game, if that's what we're going to call it, which unfortunately for me, as I was telling a lot of people to start Nyheim Hines, and, Frank Reich was talking up Nyheim Hines all game, but nope, alas, this is the game where Jonathan Taylor does what we were waiting for. So what are we thinking about him now? He had 26 touches for 114 yards. And Michael Pittman's doing well, so they got two rookies that are starting to improve. What are we thinking is going to happen there, Keenan, with Jonathan Taylor? Are you ready to start starting him? We talked about how great that schedule is the rest of the season.
Can't start him. You can't.
So you can't?
You can't.
Oh, wow.
Just because you don't know who the starter is there. Frank Reich does not like our fantasy teams, guys. He will play. 3 weeks ago, it was Wilkins. 2 weeks ago, it was Hines. This week is Jonathan Taylor. Next week, it's going to be Eric Denisi. I don't understand how they haven't been able to. I mean, I guess it's working for them. They're rotating pretty much every week, and that's not good for fantasy-wise. So if I have any of those running backs moving down the stretch and I need wins to make the playoffs, or I'm in the playoffs, unless there's injuries where I know it's going to help another running back in that mix, I'm not starting either of them.
And Jonathan Taylor, so if you look at the beginning of the season, though, I mean, for fantasy, he was getting double-digit points. For I believe the first 6 or 7 games, he was doing pretty well. I know he struggled a little bit for the past couple games. Obviously not last game. But the 3 games before that, he struggled. But if you also look, the one game was a complete shootout, and Rivers was playing pretty good and slinging the ball. But yeah, last game I think he finally, he got the touches again. He had a 20-yard touchdown called back, I believe. Yeah, I think he's very startable.
You're gonna start him even though the team's not committed to him.
If he's gonna prove it, and which he did last game, then they're gonna keep giving him the touches.
I don't know. I mean, he proved it. You just said that he had a great start to the year. What happened? And we all 3 of us, me, you, and Antonio, said after Mac went down with a season-ending injury that was his backfield. Clearly, he hasn't been able to win that backfield.
He's struggled. You can see it. You watch all the film, you watch the games, just a visual eye test, you can see that he's just struggling. He's not looking like the running back that came out of Wisconsin from watching the college tape. I think this past week against Green Bay there, you saw it a little better. You saw him running and just trusting it and running on instinct instead of running with his mind. And I think no matter what, I think he's still unstartable. But I would say that about almost any of the rookie running backs still at this point. That's just my personal opinion. I think Dobbins is still unstartable. I think Taylor's unstartable. I think Akers is unstartable. I think
Swift.
Personally, I think Swift almost could be, but I think Swift, you saw last week against Carolina there that obviously Swift is the reason that offense goes because, I mean, Carolina's a bottom 4 defense against the running backs, and Adrian Peterson had, I think, 1 or 2 points in PPR. I mean, he did nothing. So Swift is probably on the border there. I might start him, but even Clyde, honestly, he's got a decent floor, but I mean, now Bell's there, and I think you've seen his snap percentage go down a lot. I think there's just a lot of backfields right now in the NFL that are a nightmare to try and figure out who you're starting and who you're not. They're leaning towards that Patriots way that's been for a while where you're running 3-4 running backs and whoever's got the hot hand. You saw it Monday night too in Tampa Bay. It's another one that the backfield's just so murky. It's just one week it's going to be Rojo, 1 week it's going to be Fournette. It's the same way in Indy. It's going to be 1 week if Hines is having it and he's running the ball well and he's the game script. If they're down, Hines is going to be your guy. They're not going to put Taylor in because that's what Hines is. Hines is a great, I guess, quote unquote, scat back or a receiving back that coming out of the backfield just has better route running and better hands. So I think for me, it's just they're just unstartable because there's no floor to it. I'd almost honestly, as sad as it sounds, I'd rather start Montgomery and take the 10 points because I know I'm getting the 10 points instead of possibly getting 2 from Taylor versus 20. So
I was just going to say, if I had Gallman or Taylor, I'd probably start Gallman over Taylor right now at this point in the season.
I think so. I mean, he gets basically RB1 workload, and he's guaranteed almost 10, 15 points.
I don't know. I can understand the hesitation, but I feel like this week he's going to get started again by Indy and used again the way he just was, and that's going to be the tipping point. And I do hope that's the case. And if the running game's not working, or even if it is, the passing game has been so far with Phillip Rivers, and Michael Pittman Jr. has had his breakout so far. And I think this week we're going to talk about him a little bit later some more, but they just played Tennessee 2 weeks ago. They're going to get to play them again. He had over 100 yards. He's performing well. Do you think he's a must start now?
Who?
Eric? Michael Pittman?
Oh.
No, I don't think he's a must start. I mean, we see it every year. Wide receivers, especially rookie wide receivers, they have big games, and they'll string together a couple big games. But I mean, until we see it on a consistent basis, more than just 2 games, then no. I mean, especially at what he only had 3 catches, I believe.
Yeah, he caught all 3 of them, but he had a long touchdown.
It's just to be named a must start, I need a little bit more.
Yeah, I rostered him and started him last week. It was the same thing. His first catch was a 50-yard touchdown. He had 10 points. He finished with 13. So, and that first one was in the first quarter.
I definitely like him, though. I mean, especially for Dynasty, I think his outlook looks a lot better.
I think Green Bay kind of shut him down a little bit after he was able to break free on that. They got a above subpar defense. Speaking of Green Bay, though, Davante Adams in his last 19 games, he's had at least 10 targets in 16 of them. So this was his 3rd game in the last 19 where he didn't hit the 10 target mark, which is kind of crazy. But is he your number 1 overall dynasty wide receiver?
This is why he was my buy in redraft leagues. Because he's one of those guys. He gets so many targets, he gets so much of a workload that he can win you a league. And overall dynasty wide receiver, I mean,
who's your number 1 right now?
I mean, I think I still have him and Michael Thomas over some of these other guys, but
like DK.
Yeah, I love DK though. But DK, and I think Tyreek is still up there. A lot of people are a little bit lower than Tyreek now, but I think he's still up there. But I think Adams is definitely number 1 right now. Michael Thomas, with his season this year, has dropped, and we don't know what's going on next year at the quarterback position. So
Adams has 6.1 games more than the second wide receiver right now. That's how much more he's averaging. Tyreek Hill is averaging 20.2. This is in PPR. And Davante Adams is averaging 26.3. Just a machine this year. Machine. All right, one more step before we move to our streams. This season, 4 of the 12 best quarterback performances through any season's first 10 games since 1950 have occurred this year in 2020. Can you guys guess the 4 players?
Josh Allen.
I always do this. I forget. We're all looking at the same sheet. No, quit it. You're all
that was
Russell Wilson.
That was honestly a guess. That was honestly a guess. That was a guess. I swear on everything. It was a guess.
Good guess, Eric. Good guess. So through the first 10 games, Kyler Murray is first, Patrick Mahomes is 6th, Russell Wilson is 8th, and Josh Allen is 12th. That's for the most fantasy points through the first 10 games. So that was kind of fun. We obviously know it's become more of a passing league, pass heavy. I just mentioned this is the first week without 4 touchdowns. So we obviously have a lot of quarterbacks doing a lot of good things. All right.
Out of curiosity, where was Herbert on that? Do you have that list pulled up?
I don't.
I'd be curious to see possibly. I mean, he's had pretty good since week 3. You know what I mean? next year you might be looking at Herbert being on that list.
That's very true. Let me actually see how many points he has right now.
He might be lower. Doesn't he have a bye week? And
He's got 229,
Damn,
and he's actually just played 10 games fully because he missed the first one. So he wouldn't be too far off because Josh Allen had 242.9 through 10 games. Oh,
That's
so we have
crazy.
to remove. Yeah, I mean, it was through the first 10 games this year. Yeah. That'd be pretty crazy. You're right. Like I said, he's doing some things. I mean, Keenan Allen just had 19 targets again for the second time. So he's on a crazy pace. He's third right now in PPR. All right. So let's move on here to our streams. The SS Stream Boat for the week. We are coming in hot. Where are we going this week, guys? Are we thinking the Caribbean?
I could use a nice Caribbean vacation, honestly.
I know. Let's get it
Nice,
hot,
sir.
man. Winter's officially here. We were out in Alaska last week, and man, winter's officially here now up in Buffalo, and I don't like it anymore. I want to go to the Caribbean or something.
There was a one time I gotta tell you, I was.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. Let me guess. Travel to the Caribbean. This guy.
I love
We're
this
at-
guy. This guy's vacation stories.
We were in the Virgin Islands, and we were on top of this giant hill, and we're taking pictures, and you can get the view of where the Atlantic Ocean and the Caribbean Sea meet, and then the rest of the island kind of runs in between, and it was a cool look. I don't know, it just made me think of it.
Oh,
Were you on a cruise?
Yeah.
Oh,
me-
well.
Let me tell you one time I was on my kayak in Lake Erie, and you could see Canada from Hamburg Beach. It was pretty cool. Eh?
Canada?
Canada, eh?
Wow, that's crazy.
I was in my parents' pool and I saw the bottom.
Yeah.
It was pretty clear. All right, so I'm gonna start us off with our streams here of the week, and I think Jeremy's gonna kick a little one here in the end. So my quarterback is Derek Carr. He's just doing it right now. He plays the Atlanta Falcons. He just hung 275 and 3 touchdowns against Kansas City last week. He's on fire. He gets a mouthwatering matchup against Atlanta. They allow the most fantasy points against the quarterback position. They haven't taken their foot. Excuse me. They haven't taken their foot off the brakes over the last 3 games, scoring at least 31 points against the Chargers, Broncos, and Chiefs. Going across country against Atlanta, I expect the passing volume to stay high and Derek Carr to have another good game. I like Josh Jacobs, but I think this is more of a Derek Carr time, and I expect the Falcons eventually to keep one of these shootouts going. They have to start putting up some points. They have to start showing some kind of life. So my running back is going to be Wayne Gallman at the Cincinnati Bengals. He's still not owned in enough leagues, people. He really isn't. It's only 54% owned. He gets at least one more chance at a full workload before a couple other backs are healthy, like Devonta Freeman. But the Bengals just got torched by the Washington football team with Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissick for over 160 yards. And I think that the Giants are going to keep up putting the pressure on the Bengals, especially when they just lost Burrow. They're going to be pretty depleted, defeated, and probably are going to look a little bit lost. So I think this is a game that the Giants are going to win and probably win pretty handily, and they're going to lean on Gallman for that. Michael Pittman Jr., we were just talking about him. He's my wide receiver stream against the Tennessee Titans. So we talked a bit about him. I'm not going to talk too much, but he has a great shot against the Tennessee Titans, who allow the 4th most points at the position, and I think that it can be a good shootout. Both of these teams, the Titans and the Colts, have both been in 50-plus game matchups in each of their last 2 games. And my tight end, it's going to be Logan Thomas for the Washington football team playing tomorrow on Thanksgiving. I think it's a great shot for him to get the name Logan Thomas out there more in that national spotlight. The Cowboys are one of the best teams to try and do it against. They allow the most passing scores this season, and they played against him in Week 7 where he had 4 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Alex Smith has thrown for at least 325 yards in both losses that they had in their 2 of their last 3 weeks. So I think they might have to chase a little bit against Dallas. And I think that Alex Smith might lean on Logan Thomas a little bit, especially when they're both fighting for that division crown with only 3 wins each. Makes me sick. And we got some life over there. We got pulses.
Sorry, I was reading something.
Yeah, here I'll go. I'll do my streamers.
Yeah. Let me just repeat those. I got Derek Carr, Wayne Gallman, Michael Pittman Jr., and Logan Thomas.
All right, and for QB, I got Phillip Rivers, old man Rivers himself, going up against the Titans. As we talked about earlier, the Titans defense is nothing scary. And, over the 3 out of the past 4 weeks, Phillip Rivers just been on fire. As Jeremy and Keenan are saying, if you're worried about Jonathan Taylor, if you don't think he's going to have a good game, it's most likely because they're going to be throwing the ball and they're going to be using Hines a little bit more. So I think he's going to be a good option if you need somebody. At running back, I have James White going up against Arizona. This is more so because, the injury to Rex Burkhead, they already used James White. And, obviously with Burkhead going down, they're going to use him even more. I do like Damian Harris as well, but, he's probably owned in a lot more leagues than White is at this point. For wide receiver, I'm going to go with Nelson Aguilar going up against the Falcons. The Falcons defense is, just terrible against wide receivers. Carrs has, built up a connection with Aguilar as well. He had the big game last week. And I think he's going to continue that. And then for tight end, I got Robert Tonyan going up against the Bears. The Bears are top 3 against wide receivers, but they're actually bottom 10 against tight ends right now. Not only that, Robert Tonyan, surprisingly, he's only 45% rostered in Yahoo leagues right now, but he's actually he's the top 10 tight end at the moment. He's having a good year, but he struggled the past couple of weeks, which is why I think he was dropped in a lot of leagues probably. But pick him up if you got him, because he's top 6, and I think he's going to remain a top 10 wide receiver going forward for the rest of the season. But yeah, that's all I got. I got Phillip Rivers, James White, Nelson Aguilar, and Robert Tonyan.
Very nice, Eric. I guess I will. I won't finish this off because we got Pope here. So for quarterback, I got Tua. Tua got benched last week, guys. But guess what? He's playing the Jets. Gang Green is very, very, very bad defensively. They have allowed 29.64 points per game to quarterbacks. Even more outrageous, quarterbacks scored a total of 10 touchdowns against New York over actually that was since week 8, guys, that quarterbacks have scored 30 points, and they've scored 10 touchdowns in that span as well. So I see Tua having a great game against this horrible Jets team that is tanking for their own quarterback in the offseason. My next streamer is I got Duke Johnson, running back for Houston. He's playing Detroit. Yeah, Duke Johnson, hasn't been very impressive this year, especially since David Johnson has gone out. I thought he would have more fantasy points, but he just hasn't got them. But he's playing a very bad Lions defensive team who surrenders more, no defense surrenders more points from running backs this season than the Lions. My wide receiver is Damiere Byrd. Is that how you pronounce his first name?
Damiere
Byrd versus Arizona. That play this past week came to Byrd. What a great throw and catch, huh, guys? Kind of reminded me of Cam in Carolina, but very nice play by both of them. He scored his first receiving touchdown this past week. He could find himself visiting the end zone this week again. The Cardinals allowed the 6th most receiving touchdowns to wide receivers this season. I thought Myers would have more of a impact, but he kind of had a bad week, and Damiere Byrd took over.
Made me look bad.
Yeah, me too. I started him in a couple leagues. I started him over Melvin Gordon and lost, guys. And
man. Hey, Belichick's doing his carousel like he does with running backs now.
Yeah, so this one's probably gonna be a miss because they'll probably find some other wide receiver to make look good this week. And my tight end is Dalton Schultz. I guess the only reason I have him here is Andy Dalton's back. Dalton Schultz is a big red zone target. And Antonio, you said he scored a touchdown this past week in the red zone?
That he did.
Yep. So he's a big red zone target there. Cowboys were in the red zone only twice. He scored one touchdown on those 2 trips, and he's had 14 catches for 126 yards and a touchdown in his last 3 games. And each game he's had a different quarterback tossing him the ball. So hopefully a little bit of consistency will help him and rest of that Cowboys offense.
Perfect. Jeremy, why don't you give us somebody you got there?
Are you ready for this super deep stream? Are you ready for this?
Here we go.
All right. So we were talking Dallas and Washington game. I'm going to go with their newfound second wide receiver. I actually did a little mini thread on this. Cam Sims.
Yeah, you did.
He's actually been averaging about 80% snap share. He's pretty much taken over the wide receiver 2 position there. And the past, obviously not last week, they were beating Cincinnati, so their passing game was down. However, Dallas coming into town, they give up the second most points to wide receivers. And I predict this game possibly turning into what the Dallas-Minnesota game was, even though both these offenses aren't the greatest, but I could see a lot of passing going on, and Cam Sims is prevalently in their wide receiver 2 position. He also only had like 4 weeks where he's been kind of relevant of anything. But he did have a 100-yard game. He only has 1 touchdown. So this is super deep, but I do think that he has a potential here to get opportunity to where he could turn into at least turning into that 10 to 15 point wide receiver this week.
I like that a lot. I mean, I've got a few three wide receiver league, 2 flex leagues, in especially like 12, 14 team leagues. That's a really good player to have, or even just flex if you really need someone and you're struggling and you need to got to get somebody that could be like a firefly.
Yeah, I mean,
I like that.
Yeah, I think you had it in the notes or whatnot, but in the 2 games that Smith's played in, I mean, they've thrown for almost over 300 yards. So, I mean, it's got to go somewhere. And in one of those games, Cam Sims had 15 points. He had 110 yards, and it was only 3 catches. So he's kind of a big play kind of guy. So,
last week I threw last week out. Sorry to interrupt you there, just because they controlled the game the whole time, and I just don't think that's a norm for the football team to be able to actually have a good positive game script. So that's why I think Alex Smith will be throwing.
Oh, yeah, and I could see that definitely. And in the 2 games that they were behind with Smith there, he put up 15 and 9 points in PPR. So, I mean, that's, like you said, a 12, 14-team league. That's not a bad score for your, say, 3rd or 4th receiver.
I like it. So that'll end our streamboat for the week. We hit up a few islands there in the Caribbean. We're going to head on back through and head on to the cold. So hopefully next week we can get somewhere back warm.
Leave Pope there.
We'll leave Pope there. You can stay in the Caribbean. They'll like your beard.
I'm all about it. I'll get you guys will come back. I'll have beads in it, Johnny Depp style.
With that though, we're gonna throw a lot of information in you at once because we wanna get over to Jeopardy though. But we're gonna get our stress and impress in here as well. So I'll go right from the streams to our stress and impress, and I think I will start that off with our impresses. And I have DeAndre Swift at Houston. He was just back at practice yesterday, cleared for his concussion protocol. Houston's allowed a rushing touchdown every week but 1. So I think that with DeAndre Swift finally getting the workload, and we saw how terrible they were last week, they didn't even get into the red zone once. So it was kind of rough. So I think that Detroit needs him back, and he's going to get a full workload. And my second is going to be Evan Ingram at Cincinnati. He had 29 targets in the 3 games prior to his 3 targets in Week 10. So I think that he's going to get back to the former. Cincinnati allows almost over 250 yards per game, and the second most points to tight end. So I think Daniel Jones is going to want to lean on him. I said earlier with Wayne Gallman as my stream, I think that the Giants are just going to have a fantastic game. They're going to roll all over the Bengals. And my third impress is going to be Brandon Cooks at Detroit. He is on pace, guys, to have over 1,000 yards for the fourth different team. That is insane. I think he was the first to do it on the third different team. He's now going to definitely be the first to do it on the fourth different team. So he certainly made a connection with Deshaun Watson. We know Houston's been throwing the ball a lot. We see what happened without David Johnson. Duke Johnson is really not getting anything done. And Cooks has had at least 60 yards or a touchdown in 5 of his last 6 games. So he's got a good floor and he's got a really good ceiling. So I really like what he can do on Thanksgiving Day. And apparently I like a lot of Thanksgiving Day games.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
I'll
my
jump.
impresses.
Yeah, I'll jump into mine. I got Gus Edwards for my first one going up against the Steelers. We know the Steelers are good against the run, but with J.K. Dobbins and Mark Ingram being out with COVID, I mean, I could only imagine. I mean, somebody else other than Lamar is going to get the rush attempts there, and I can see them sprinkling Justice Hill in here and there, but I think Gus Edwards is going to handle the majority of the workload there. And then my second stream, as I mentioned earlier, Todd Gurley going up against the Raiders. The Raiders are bottom 4 against running backs right now. Julio might still be hurt. He's a game-time decision. I think they're going to lean on their run game a little bit, keep the ball out of the Oakland Raiders' offense's hands. And so, yeah, I think he's going to have a get-right game after last week. And then my third one is same game, Darren Waller going up against the Falcons. The Falcons are the worst team against the tight end this year. And yeah, on top of that, I think he's going to have a fantastic game. He could potentially be the number 1 overall tight end on the week. So, yeah, I think he's going to impress you this week.
You better.
Yeah, I don't think you had much to say there. We saw what he did last week against the Chiefs, and there's a chance, like I was saying too, that if they're going to shoot out, the Falcons need to finally do something. So Oakland will have to chase them. Or, like I said, they haven't been taking the foot off the gas, so they just want to throw and throw and throw. So it's a good call. Keenan.
Yeah. All right. Number 1 for me is Curtis Samuel. He's playing Minnesota. Target numbers for the Panthers receiving core over the last 3 games. Robbie Anderson has 28, Samuel 24, and DJ Moore 21. But let's not forget that Samuel has received 7 carries. He's played a little bit of running back there since Christian McCaffrey has been out. So he's getting more touches than the rest of the wide receivers and running backs right now. So I'm expecting with Teddy Bridgewater to come back, that should really help Samuel out. Minnesota has allowed the 5th most fantasy points and 2nd most touchdown receptions to wideouts this season. So I think he is a must start. Kareem Hunt versus Jacksonville. Hunt's has been struggling lately, Antonio, since you traded him to me. Thanks a lot. However, there's plenty of reason to believe that trend won't continue into this week. For starters, the Jags allowed the 6th most points to running backs this year. They surrendered 62 receptions to the position in 2000 so far this year, and they have allowed 12 red zone targets against running backs. Have also seen 12. I don't know what that note is. I must have messed it up. So
I think they've had 12 red zone targets to their opposing running backs.
Yeah. So sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's right.
Yeah. It's something that the Jags are doing very bad to help Kareem Hunt, guys. Last one is Devontae Parker versus the Jets. Man, Parker has been a bit of a hit or miss this season. I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but however, I feel the volume is there. He's been targeted a total of 23 times the last 3 weeks. He takes on that horrible Jet secondary that I mentioned earlier. In the last 4 weeks, they've surrendered the most fantasy points to wide receivers and 2nd most receiving yards and tied for 2nd most touchdowns to wide receivers. So I think Devontae Parker and maybe even Grant will have a great game against the Jets.
Yeah, if Tua's starting, Tua loves Grant.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Jeremy, who do you think you got for an impress for us?
I'm going to go to the tight end position for this one. I think this is a candidate to knock Mark Andrews off the wide receiver, the tight end 1 position. It's actually the tight end 7 on the season in PPR, and that would be Justin Herbert's tight end, Hunter Henry.
I like it.
He's going up against Buffalo, who is giving up the 6th most points to tight ends on the season. We know I think Milano's still out, which is going to be a hard cover for any of the other linebackers to Hunter Henry. He commands 90% of their snap share for the tight end position. He's had 4 weeks in a row with 4 receptions. And he's also had 4 weeks in a row with 30+ yards. And he's also had at least 1 touchdown in the last 2 weeks. So they're not astounding numbers. However, though, they've gone up against a little bit tougher teams against tight ends. And I think the Bills will be able to lock down Keenan Allen with Tre'Davious White. And with Norman coming back, Mike Williams might also be a little bit harder to find targets to. And they might go towards Hunter Henry a little more. And as we know, being Bills fans, or if you've watched any Bills games, the Bills tend to jump out early in the first quarter, and most teams have to throw and keep up with them. So Herbert should be throwing a lot, and I think you're going to see another game of that 3 to 4 touchdowns out of both quarterbacks possibly.
I like that option, man. I like that option a lot, and we've been talking a lot about Herbert doing it, so it's going to be a fun game with the Chargers this week. All right, so let's move on over to our stresses. We talked a lot about the Saints earlier. I'll start us off. I have Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill. That's 2 of my 3 duos I'll talk about together. As we mentioned, Kamara had his first game without a catch, and it scares me a lot. He's averaging only 12 rushes a game. I don't think that it's going to change too much because New Orleans wasn't necessarily I guess they didn't pull away the whole game. They were kind of in control most of the game, but they weren't at a point where I think their offense could have necessarily just said, hey, let's just chill back. And I don't know if they're ever going to be at that point where they can just rely on Kamara to run, especially with Latavius Murray. So Kamara scares me. Taysom Hill in general, I don't like what I saw. He underthrew a lot. I'd rather have a quarterback that overthrows. Michael Thomas, yeah, he had a great game with 12 targets, but he wasn't able to do a lot of yardage-wise, and Taysom only threw 23 times. I want a quarterback that's going to throw at least 35, 40 times, and I don't think that's what they're going to be able to do with Taysom Hill, because if they do, he's going to be throwing interceptions. So I think it's going to be a big test this week against Denver for both Kamara and Hill for what the future holds for both of them. And my third one's Jarvis Landry at Jacksonville. I really thought he was going to come in and hopefully be able to command that number 1 like he was able to last year over Odell Beckham. But even though Jacksonville gets up the ninth most points to wide receivers, and they've been able to put up points, so it hopefully will be a shootout, I don't see it with Jarvis. Baker's averaging just 23 attempts in his last 5 games. And I think that Cleveland's going to try and control the game with Chubb and Hunt since they're running the ball almost 40 times a game. Baker's thrown for only 219 yards or more twice this season. So even if Jarvis Landry is getting 25 or 30% of the target share, which is immense, that's only 7 or 8 targets. And I just can't trust Jarvis to do much right now with that.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in Landry so far this year. He had a pretty good year to end last year and just hasn't been, good this year. So I guess I'll move on to mine. My first one's Matthew Stafford versus Houston. He's dealing with a thumb injury, guys. He only had 7-8 points in fantasy this past week. He'll likely once again be without his top 2 playmakers, unless is Swift going to play? Is that confirmed?
I don't think it's confirmed yet.
Yeah,
he's back at practice, so I think he's going to be all right.
All right, but looks like Kenny Galladay is still dealing with an injury there, which is unfortunate. Since returning from week 8 bye, Houston has allowed just 2 passing touchdowns, guys, which is pretty impressive. So I think he struggles this week. Second one is Darrell Henderson versus San Francisco. Yeah, Henderson leads, running the Rams running backs in snaps. This past week, he outpaced Michael Brown by 6. However, he's still scoring in single digits in 5 of the last 7 games. He hasn't topped 8 carries nor 47 yards rushing in 3 consecutive games. Since week 1, the 49ers which is crazy with all the injuries. 49ers defense has played pretty well. They've allowed only 3 rushing touchdowns to running backs, while only 1 running back has topped 58 rushing yards against them since week 2. So I think we're seeing this is also another backfield that's really annoying, kind of like the Indy backfield. Wish they would just give it to Akers, but whatever. Last one, Jared Cook versus Denver. Cook is kind of fallen off the radar, guys. He hasn't scored more than 3.6 points in the last 3 straight games. I think he had a goose egg this past week. I might be wrong, but even worse, his target share has dropped since Michael Thomas has returned, which is understandable, but I wasn't expecting this much production to be dropped from him. Cook has received a total of 6 targets over the last 3 games, guys. That's just not going to cut it. And the Broncos haven't given up a touchdown to tight ends since week 1. So pretty impressive Broncos defense there too.
Yeah, Cook had 1 catch for 6 yards. So I think it's not a lot of people aren't looking well with Taysom Hill besides just Michael Thomas, and I don't even know if that's that great. So for all those Taysom Hill truthers out there, you keep riding that train.
Yeah.
Eric, all right, you're stressed.
Yep, I'll go. My first one is Gio Bernard going up against the Giants. This is, even with Joe Burrow in there, he's just a decent play, and without Joe Burrow in there, I just feel like the Giants are going to be able to stack the box and completely shut down the run game, and even probably shut down the pass game, depending on how their quarterback play is. But yeah, I'm stressing on him this week. I'm looking to find another option if I can. My second one, he's, I would still say he's a flex option. I just, Antonio Brown going up against the Chiefs. Antonio Brown is a pretty polarizing player right now, obviously. But I don't think him getting the most targets, him getting double-digit 13 targets is going to happen often. We've seen Scotty Miller have big games with both Evans and Godwin in the lineup, with Godwin and Evans getting theirs as well. And last game, Godwin and Evans both got theirs also. I think it was more just how much they passed the ball. And we know Brady already has the chemistry built up with AB from before, but yeah, I'm not looking at him as the wide receiver one there as I feel like some people are. And then my third stress is Justin Jefferson going up against the Panthers. The Panthers are top 6 against wide receivers right now. Their defense is playing pretty good. Not only that, but Thielen might be out with COVID. They're saying he might be able to play, but
his second test came back negative.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
but either way, even if he's in there, I don't know. It's tough for me. The Panthers are playing pretty good. I think they're going to try and keep the ball out of Teddy's hands and just run the ball through Delvin as much as they can. So, yeah, I'm stressing on him a little bit this week.
Speaking of Thielen, are we getting close to a Thielen apology yet?
Nah, never get that.
It's extremely frustrating watching Jefferson be open, and just Cousins just has tunnel vision for Adam Thielen.
You blame him?
I mean, he had an amazing catch. That one-handed catch was great. But, like we saw after Thielen's 2 catches, that all of a sudden Justin Jefferson magically is open for a 39-yard touchdown. Well, that's been there all the game.
But also, Justin Jefferson had 3 drops, wide open drops this past week too.
I think it's just a trust thing.
Trust thing, yeah.
It's the trust chemistry. It's been built up with him from previous years. And Adam Thielen is great. Like I said,
I understand.
Why I trust him.
I tweeted out, I think he's got a 23% touchdown rate with Kirk Cousins, like over the last 2 seasons. It's insane. Like he's got 77 catches and 17 touchdowns.
That's with having Diggs on the other side too.
That was with Diggs last season, and then this season with Jefferson.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying Diggs is a 1A, 1B there. So
I know, but that's how it's been this year too with Jefferson. Ideally,
yeah, there's no 1B there yet or last.
We'll talk about that.
1-2.
We'll see. But that's going to end the stress.
Hold on,
impresses,
I'm not done
except
yet.
Jeremy.
I'm not done yet.
Did I cut you off again?
Are we? You
Cut off everybody.
You're having a bad habit of that. But I want a written apology so we can mail it to Mr. Thielen.
Oh no, I'm telling you, man, you're not getting an apology yet. He's just
when the guy finishes wide receiver 5 this year, you're gonna have to give an apology, Antonio.
Well, then he's gonna have to do it, and then I will.
All right, go on.
How about that?
Oh, wow.
So, Jeremy, you
Yeah,
have a stress for us?
I do. I'm going to go with the running back 6 this year. I'm going to go with Zeke. I think he's going to be in that Thanksgiving Day showdown against the football team. However, that football team's defense is actually pretty good. They rank 22nd in points against the running backs, so they're pretty much not giving much up. I think you're going to be looking at Zeke played them in week 7. He had 6 total PPR points. He went 12 carries for 45 yards, 1 reception for 6 yards. Now, that was without Dalton. However, this defense is still pretty good. So there's that chance that he repeats that 6 PPR points again. However, I feel like I have to start him due to last week where he produced 20 PPR points. And the last 3 weeks, the football team, the only running back that they necessarily shut down was Giovanni Bernard last week, where he only rushed and had 9 PPR points. But the week before, Swift had 25. So I think this is a big stress for me just based on what are we going to get? Are we going to get the 6-point Zeke Elliott, or are we going to get the 20-point Zeke Elliott? So for me, that's why he's a stress, not really based on anything other than the pure matchup of which one we're going to get.
That's very fair, man. You're bringing some hot ones, man.
Always spicy.
I like that. I like that take. All right, so stresses and impresses are done. Let's move on to our next segment of Fantasy Jeopardy. This is Fantasy Jeopardy.
That was bad.
Damn it.
That was terrible.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I'm not going to edit that out. I don't want to.
Yeah, you don't, because it was funny. Eric's just laughing.
I can go so much higher pitch.
We were laughing with
Practicing
you,
it all
not
night.
at you.
All right. So I'm excited for this. We've got four categories, 3 questions in each one. We'll have a final Jeopardy. We've got a couple of double Jeopardies. The points are worth 100, 200, and 300 for each category. When you want to buzz in, just say your name. If you get it wrong, you lose points. Obviously, you get it correct, you get the points.
Can we see the board?
Yeah, where's the board?
There's no board, sorry. I can't show you the board because I labeled double Jeopardy, but the categories are quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers,
I see where this is going. Tight ends.
and then is the grass greener?
Oh, he got you.
I got you. I got you there. No. Is the grass greener? And what is that category? That's a category of players that have changed teams in the offseason. So the answer will somehow be about players that are new to their team this year. So our honorary guest here, Jeremy, I think we're going to let you start us off here. What category would you like?
Oh, gosh.
And let's remember, this is Jeopardy, so answer in the form of a question.
Are we keeping score ourselves, or are you keeping score?
I'm keeping score.
All right.
I'll go with what is running backs 100?
Well, you could just say running back for 100,
Nope.
and then we have to reply what is or who is.
That's
All
all
right.
questions.
Well, you better hope you get it right. So, remember to buzz in, say your name. So,
He loses points. He didn't eat.
question 1. I just realized.
Oh, my God.
Messed it up.
All right. No, there was, I got to remember now some of these things that were said throughout the show. Hopefully, don't give away some of these answers. So, I just had my first 100-yard rushing game of the year and my first touchdown since week 5.
Keenan.
Jeremy.
But I'm a top.
Oh.
Oh, okay. Keenan.
Who won? Oh, come on. That's bullcrap.
What is J.K. Dobbins?
That's
It would
wrong.
be who is J.K. Dobbins?
Yeah,
of all,
who is?
Mister? And
Yeah,
you're wrong.
Damn.
Does Jeremy get to guess?
Yeah, I buzzed
Jeremy?
it. Does that mean I get to go?
Yeah,
Who is Jonathan Taylor?
wrong.
Oh shit, he didn't have 100.
Eric,
Can
you have a guess or no? You don't have to guess. Remember, you lose
repeat
points
it?
if you don't.
Yeah, can you say it?
Well, you have to say if you don't want to guess.
What happens if I don't guess?
Well, could you want me to finish the question? Because they
Yeah.
kind of buzzed in before
Yeah,
I finished.
Yeah.
So it was this running back just had their first 100-yard rushing game of the year and their first touchdown since week 5. They kind of stopped me when I said their first. So they scored their first total touchdown since week 5. I'll give you 5 seconds.
Oh God.
I know who it is now.
Is he in? Are you buzzing in or no?
No, I don't
All
know.
right, it's up, Jeremy.
It's is it Elliott?
It is Zeke.
Yeah.
He doesn't get points
the-
though, right?
As I was about to, what'd you say?
He doesn't get points.
He doesn't get points, no. But as I was about to start reading the question, it starts with "I am the RB6," but
I
Jeremy
literally
said he's
just
the
looked at
RB6.
my notes over and have the
I know.
giant circle that says first touchdown since week 5.
Yep. So that's where I had to start. So all right, nobody gets points for that one. Perfect. I like it. So back to Jeremy.
I'll take quarterbacks for 100.
Quarterbacks for 100. I currently lead the league in passing yards.
Keenan.
Eric.
Oh fuck.
Keenan. What are you
Um,
swearing for? You got it. Well, don't be swearing.
Yeah, don't be.
well, I don't.
He doesn't know the answer. That's the
I don't know
problem.
the answer.
I said my name second.
You did, but all right, Keenan, you got 5.
What is the kid from San Diego, the Chargers?
You guys are struggling.
Herbert.
Who is? These are people.
Who is
and what-
Herbert?
You're wrong.
I have someone else in mind, but they're not. It's not the right answer.
Eric.
So I don't know if it's still him or not because he had a bye week this week. But who is Joshua Allen?
It's not.
Damn it.
That's what I thought it was.
Do you have a guess? There, Jeremy.
Yeah, who is Russell Wilson?
And come on, guys.
Is it Kyler?
Mahomes?
Patrick Mahomes.
Really?
He is on pace
Dude,
for
2
over-
weeks before week 12, though, Josh Allen and Diggs were both leading the league in yards for.
Yeah, well,
third
that was
position.
before week 12, wasn't it?
I know.
Or,
Well,
no,
that's,
you mean before week 11.
no, before 12.
Well, it's about to be week 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Patrick Mahomes is on pace for over 5,000 yards, guys, quietly,
And we stink at this game.
and he
guys.
was actually on pace for 50 touchdowns before last week. So, or 2 weeks
What
ago.
happens if we all end the game with 0?
It's all right. So currently, it's Eric has minus 100, Keenan minus 200, Jeremy minus 200.
What?
So Jeremy, back to you, sir.
Should we keep the hundreds up or should we get a little harder, boys?
Let's stay at the hundreds, buddy.
Get wild.
Let's go with the grass is greener for 100.
Dum, 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 dum. Daily double. All right. So with daily double, Jeremy, this question's only for you. You could choose to wager. You are currently at negative 200. How much? So you technically can't wager anything, but I'm going to let you wager up to $200.
I guess I'll wager the 200. Go big or
There
go
you
home,
go.
right?
Go big or go home. I like it. All right. So remember, this is players who have changed teams, okay? So I have over 60 catches in my new home, but haven't scored since my first game. Who am I? My first game in week 1.
I know it.
I think I know it, but I'm not 100% sure.
Start time limit.
I'm gonna
I'll
say
give you 5 seconds.
who is Stephon Diggs?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Robbie
Jeremy?
Anderson.
Robbie
Robbie
Anderson.
Anderson.
There you go. Perfect.
So I get the 200 points, right?
Nope. Good try, though. But I will switch this off since Jeremy keeps getting go over. I'll let Keenan get to be the one to pick in the next category.
Quarterbacks for 500.
500.
There's
Jesus.
200 and 300. So
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think that
300.
exists.
you want 300? All right, quarterbacks for 300. All right, so give me your best guess at how many quarterbacks in the league have thrown 4 passing touchdowns or more. Not how many games in general, how many quarterbacks themselves have thrown 4 or more.
This year?
Eric.
Just one number. No, well, sorry. Well, I was going to give all 3 of you a chance at number, and the closest would win. Sorry.
Oh.
So I'll let Keenan start because he asked the question.
Looks like he's looking it up. He's cheating.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was reading.
Yeah, look away from that computer.
Hey, trust me,
Sorry, I was
he
just waiting for
wouldn't
the
be able to
computer
get
to
it.
give me
Don't
the
worry.
answer.
I was reading Twitter.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to find it.
32.
There's 32 quarterback teams in the NFL, so you think every team had a quarterback that's thrown 4 touchdowns?
Yeah, that's what he said.
There's
No.
There's injuries. There's
No, in one game.
No, in
one
game.
game. Oh, I thought you meant
Like-
all season.
Like if Patrick Mahomes
Oh.
throws 4 touchdowns and then Drew Brees throws 4 touchdowns, but if it's not every game Mahomes did, it's just Mahomes did it once now. So how many quarterbacks have thrown at least 4 touchdowns or more?
I'm gonna say 1.
All right,
All
he's
right.
done.
Eric.
I'm gonna say 1.
All right, that's
Go.
fine, Eric.
12.
4 touchdowns or more in one game?
No, the whole season. How many quarterbacks have thrown at least 4 touchdowns or more?
In the whole season?
Yes, in one game.
Oh, in one game. All right, whatever.
I'll give you one chance to change it. You have to think and let Jeremy go.
You're
Eric has
saying
12.
Yeah, you're saying that
12 different quarterbacks.
12 different quarterbacks have thrown for 4 touchdowns in one game
Yes.
this season.
Eric thinks there's 12.
That's what I said. It's the closest to it, so I'm going with 12.
5.
Now you decide if you want below or above.
5.
5. All right. Keenan.
1 and 32. He's done.
10.
You gotta go in the middle. 16 now.
10.
10. All right. Goodness, you guys made that painful. Eric wins. There's 13 quarterbacks that
Really?
have thrown
Let's go.
that have thrown 4 touchdowns or more. I'm gonna read them real quick. Brady, Rodgers, Dak, Herbert, Mahomes, Wilson, Josh Allen, Ryan Tannehill, Matt Ryan, Deshaun Watson, Baker Mayfield with his 5 touchdown game, Drew Brees, and Big Ben.
Do I lose points?
I just feel bad for you, so I'm not going to take it.
I didn't understand
that one.
I didn't understand the question. I thought you meant four all season. I'm like,
It's pretty
wait,
straightforward.
Dak?
It's okay. Eric got
Dak.
the 300 points. So Eric gets to pick the next category.
Let's go running backs for 200.
Perfect. Running backs, 200. Get ready. I am 3rd in the league in catches behind Alvin Kamara and Mike Davis, but I am not in the top 24 in overall running back scoring.
Jeremy. I'm going to say this is a bold statement. I'm probably wrong, but JD McKissick.
Woo, boy. That's the correct answer.
There she
That was
is.
a good answer.
What a good guess there.
I only know because I've been
44
talking him up for like 3 weeks.
44 catches on 66 targets. Great guess there.
That's all right. I'm in the cellar anyways. If I'm still losing.
Bring it on back to Jeremy gets the pick.
What's left even?
So you have quarterback for 200, running back for 300, receivers for 100 and 300, or is the grass greener for 2 and 3?
Let's do receivers for 100.
Receivers for 100. This rookie has the longest receiving touchdown of the season for all wide receivers.
Keenan, Justin Jefferson.
Jeremy.
Jeremy.
Isn't it Claypool?
Chase Claypool. Ding, ding, ding. Jeremy on a streak right now.
Yep. What's up?
There you go. All right. So current score, Jeremy currently has minus 100.
Yeah.
Keenan has minus 200, and Eric has 300. Nope, Eric has 200. My apologies. So, Jeremy, you're on the you get to pick.
Let's go with quarterbacks for 200. Right, that's still there.
Sorry, all wide receivers were open for that one. That was the first
Oh.
one we picked. So quarterbacks for 200 still?
Yeah.
All right, quarterbacks for 200. I still have more points than Baker Mayfield, and I haven't played since week 5.
Hey, Eric.
Eric?
Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott. Nice job.
I said that in the freaking group chat the other day.
I did take a couple things from stuff we've talked about. Dak Prescott still has 6.9 points, great number, more than Baker Mayfield, and he has not played since week 5. So
Yeah, I was looking at Baker's stats earlier. He's been bad. I didn't realize it.
He's trash.
bad.
But I will go wide receivers for 200.
That is your daily double.
Bet it all.
There you go, Eric. You currently have 400 points.
Do I get to hear the question first?
No, motherfucker.
No.
I mean, well, you're gonna have to edit that.
Oh, make sure you mark down what time it is on here. All right, so I will bet 300. They're both in the negative still, right?
If go big or go home.
No,
All right.
Jeremy's 100. Jeremy has 100.
Oh, I'll still do 300.
But yeah, no, Keenan's minus 200.
It's okay,
All right.
Keenan.
So you're gonna bet 300. I like it. So remember, just
He
Eric
knows
for
the
this
question.
one.
It's probably a terrible question.
I am 6th in receiving yards, but not even the best wide receiver on my team.
6 in receiving yards and not the best wide receiver.
Not the
on
best
my team.
fantasy wide receiver on my team.
Oh crap! 6 in receiving yards and not the best on the team. Oh man, I should know this.
Yeah, you should.
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Blanking.
He's looking it up.
No, I'm not. It's not. Julio, is it? No, it's terrible.
DK?
Justin Jefferson.
I was gonna say him too, but I didn't think he
Justin
had that many
Jefferson
yards.
is 6th in receiving yards. He has 848 receiving yards.
Are you sure?
I am very positive. So that'll put Eric down to 100. He's tied with Jeremy. Eric, back to you. So you have running back for 300, wide receiver for 300, and is the grass greener for 200.
Isn't that for 2 and 300?
Yeah, I say I don't think. You should
Oh
have
yeah,
2
2
or
and
3.
300. I'm sorry.
Is the grass greener for 300?
Ooh boy.
Need this one.
All right. I am tied for the league. I am tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns inside the 5.
Eric.
Eric.
I don't know this, so hold on. Inside the 5.
Jeremy's second.
5.
James Robinson. That's terrible.
That was terrible. Jeremy.
Going out on a limb here. I think we talked about him. I think it's going to be Gurley.
Oh, that's a good guess, but no. Eric, remember, grass
Really?
greener is people changing teams.
Oh, yeah. no.
Keenan, do you have a guess or no?
What was the question?
The question is, I am tied for the league lead in rushing touchdowns inside the 5-yard line.
Doesn't have to be a running back, right?
No, it's any position.
What's my score right now? I have a guess, but I'm worried.
Minus
about-
200.
Oh.
Jared, you are all tied
know
right
who
now.
you're
Minus
guessing.
200.
Wait, who's up?
I am. I have a guess, right?
He has a chance to guess or not. You're all tied right now. Minus 200.
I think I know who
I'm
it
gonna
is.
say Cam Newton.
Oh, that's a clutch guess.
Yep.
Let's go.
That puts you plus 100. Keenan just took a big old swing there. Yeah, Cam Newton has 7 touchdowns. I thought it might have thrown you guys off there. So good one there. Keenan,
Wasn't even thinking that.
running back, wide receiver for 300, or is the grass greener for 200?
We'll go with is the grass greener for 200, please.
Wise choice. I scored my first touchdown of the season last week after joining the third team in the same division this year.
It's not. Oh, Eric.
Eric.
Oh, first one of the year. Oh crap. Nope. I shouldn't have guessed. I should have said my name. Is it third team in the same division?
No, you're done. Sorry.
Yep. All right.
Man, the third team in the same division makes it seem like I should know this answer.
Yeah, I have no idea.
5 seconds for somebody to buzz in.
I don't know.
Frank Gore.
I thought you meant this year.
Oh,
I thought you meant this year.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking somebody moved the division
Yeah.
3
I'm
times already this year.
Yeah.
I see.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry for my confusion.
You're fine.
Yeah, they scored their first touchdown of the season after joining their third team in the same division. Yeah, my apologies. All right. Eric, I'll let you pick. Running back or wide receiver?
I get to pick. I got the last question right.
I'm pretty sure I'm the host.
Oh, well,
All right,
listen,
Keenan, I'll let you go.
That's what I thought.
Running back or wide receiver for 300?
Running back.
Of the 48 players with a broken tackle, I rank worst in broken tackles per attempt. Hint, I am a rookie.
Can you say that again?
So, out of everybody that's had a broken tackle in the league,
Okay.
they are the worst at breaking tackles. They need the most attempts to break a tackle.
Eric.
And they're a rookie.
It's a rookie, huh?
Eric. It's a rookie. This was the running backs category, right?
Yep.
Jonathan Taylor.
It's a good guess. That's the answer.
It is?
Jonathan Taylor.
I was going to say,
has 3 broken tackles on 135 attempts. He breaks a tackle once every 45 carries.
Wow.
That was a big issue coming out of college, was his fumbles and his ability to not break tackles. And we have seen some of those issues this season. I'm still a JT believer, but I found that really, really crazy when I was looking that up.
Who leads the NFL in broken tackles?
I'm glad you asked that. Mike Davis does on a per attempt basis. After that, it's Delvin Cook. Originally, I was going to do who's third in broken tackles, but I knew none of you would get that because it's David Montgomery.
I was going to say it was David Montgomery.
Ooh,
I actually knew that because I was looking at it the other day.
He has the
yeah,
third
there you
most
go.
broken tackles in the league.
Yeah, you'd think.
He actually was leading the league for a bit.
Yeah, I actually thought it was him, and maybe it changed this week because I thought I saw something last week that said it was
You
him.
might have, because he's only, Delvin Cook only has like 2 more than him, and he's missed the last few weeks. All right, so nobody got that one. Keenan, you get 300.
I got it.
Or
Yeah.
Eric. I'm sorry, Eric got it. My bad.
Rigged.
All right. Wide receiver for 300. Last question before Final Jeopardy. All right. There are 2 wide receivers with 100 plus targets. Who are they?
Eric.
Eric?
Devontae Adams. Oh, wait. He's been injured. He still might.
Keenan next.
All right.
Keenan?
Um,
I won't take points off of this round to make Final Jeopardy fun.
is Keenan Allen one of them?
I don't know. You got to tell me the other one.
He didn't buzz you like he buzzed me after Devontae, so.
Well, I just buzzed you because
You said Devontae Adams, right? Eric?
Nope.
Stephon Diggs?
Oh, all right, man. That's right. Good answers. You got it right.
Let's go!
Keenan Allen has 112 targets and Diggs has 101.
Diggs was going to be my second one.
How many does Devontae Adams have? He missed
Like
a game.
86, I believe.
Didn't he miss a game or two?
89. Yeah, he missed 2 games.
No, there you go.
Yeah, 89. Damn.
So, perfect. That ends up for all Jeopardy. Keenan has 400. Jeremy has minus 200 and Eric has minus 100. I will give everybody an allotment of $1,000 for this.
I wasn't gonna bid at all.
I'm just kidding. No,
I'm obviously going all in. Go big or go home.
but we're gonna do Final
Free house
Jeopardy anyway
money.
because it's fun.
So I win?
Well, I mean, technically they can't.
So what do I win?
Technically, we can't bid.
You win exactly.
But
Becky,
wait,
you-
I
you
just
could
won
bid.
300 last round, so I should be in the positive, right?
We'll have fun with. Well, no, because you were at negative.
200.
You were at negative 400.
How?
Because you were at negative 200, then you guessed again and lost at negative 200. Because remember, is the
I don't
grass
trust
greener?
your
You got
scoring.
wrong.
I was at 400, then I went down to 100, then I went down to negative 200, and then I just won 300.
Nah.
No, you went down to negative 200, and then you guessed wrong on is the grass greener, and on the wide receiver too. So that took minus 400.
I trust you.
I got you
Recount.
here, baby. But
Stop
whoever
the
gets
count.
this right wins the game.
No.
All right, here we go. Final Jeopardy.
How about you make it? Whoever gets this gets like 600 points.
There you go. We'll do that. 600 points to this.
How's that good for me? I'm
There's
winning.
30 seconds
Because you
on the
better
clock.
get the question right. If no one gets it right, you win. And if you get
I
it
won.
right,
I won.
Let's
already.
get this,
It's
hey,
me and Alex
50%
that-
chance that you
We'll
win.
get this wrapped up. Final Jeopardy. 30 seconds. You get to think. I am a quarterback. I have not finished worse than 9th in any given week since week 3. Who
Eric.
am I? No, it's
Jeremy.
not how it works. It's Final Jeopardy. You guys wait till the time's done and then you guys tell me your answer. So if you all tell me when you all have your answers, how about that?
I'm
I
ready.
got it.
All right. Keenan, when you're ready, you let me know.
I
But if what happens if we tie?
You won't tie. if
Oh
you
wait,
all
it's
get
600 points. You're right.
All right. Well, I mean,
You got it?
I guess.
All right, we'll let the two confident go first. Eric, who is it?
Well, what if they copy my answer?
Yeah. Well, what I would say is everybody tell you our answers, and then
No.
Right.
Did you write it down?
No. Well, what I'm saying is so. I guess we could write it down on a piece of paper and hold it up.
Everyone,
None of you have integrity.
turn your volumes down, and we'll all talk. And tell them. All right. How
Where's
about we
your
all say it
integrity?
at once? 3, 2,
Go.
1.
We go.
Herbert.
Justin Herbert.
Did everybody say Justin Herbert?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. You're all wrong.
Whatever. As long as we're
No,
all
I'm
wrong,
kidding.
that's
You're
still
all
wrong.
right. I'll give it to you.
Whatever.
Doesn't matter. Candy still wins.
Yeah, Keenan wins first inaugural
We're not in the
Jeopardy.
negatives.
R.I.P. Alex Trebek. That was a great guess, but you are correct. Yeah, Justin Herbert has not finished worse than quarterback 9 since week 3. My man is on a tear. Keenan Allen is killing it. Mike Williams is killing it. The Chargers are killing it. Austin Eckler's coming back. A lot of good things going on for them. So that's going to end it for this week's episode. I hope Fantasy Jeopardy was a lot of fun for everybody. I hope you guys had some fun there. We had some little nuggets for you. Had a lot going on today. Appreciate Jeremy again for coming on the show. It was really nice to have a guest on here. Haven't had one in a while. Jeremy, why don't you tell everybody again where they can find you?
Yeah, I mean, you can check me out on Twitter at PopesFFH. That's the only real media that I'm on as far as fantasy football goes. And that's about it. And I just like to say thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And Jeopardy was a blast, even though Keenan cheated.
Yeah, we're going to actually have the judges review the scores afterwards, and we'll come up with an official scoring later. But yeah, it was great to have you on. I know we talk football all the time. We've known you for a while, so it was great to get you on here again. I know we had you on back in the good old days of when we first started. So appreciate that. Hope we can get you on for the future. And what about you guys? You have anything you want to say here?
Oh my God.
Put the belt away.
Keenan whips his championship belt out yet again.
Shine this bad boy up. Ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
Jeopardy champ, fantasy football champ.
Whatever makes you happy, man. Whatever makes you happy. But okay, so I
mean,
hope everybody.
The only thing that's not making me happy is I'm pizza boy right now.
You're gonna be pizza boy because my team is a lot better than yours, Sting. Damn it, and I don't deserve that. But I hope everybody enjoys their Thanksgiving. I hope everybody has a good holiday. Be safe. Be happy. Good luck on your football week 12s as we push closer and closer to the playoffs. And with that being said, thanks again, Jeremy. Mafia out.